Everyone, welcome Cosmic Explorers to the Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour. I want to thank you for joining me tonight, Rebecka Gregory, for an hour to tune up that cosmic part of you. So tonight I have the honor to be co-creating the show with a colleague of mine. Good evening, everyone. Welcome Cosmic Explorers to the Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour here with Rebecka Gregory. And tonight we are blessed with angel co-creator guest Corinne Gurillo. So how lucky are we? Here to bring you some angel juju and give us a sneak peek on her new book, which is about to launch, The Angel Experiment, a 21-day adventure to heal your life. So how fabulous is that? Because I know a lot of people right now are going through a lot of stuff. So all this magical angel stuff is so powerful in helping us step into ourselves and learn ways in order to work through all these energies that are going on right now. So I'll bring her on in a few minutes here. But first, I wanted to kind of step in to last week. I kind of got cut off at the end of the show, so I wanted to talk about. I was going to read you a channel that I had channeled on 1010 Portal, and how apropos today that this is coming up. That I was cut off last week to read it tonight, because that's one of the beautiful things I learned when I was in the Angel Academy with Corinne Gurillo on how to channel. So I feel like the energies, you're talking about energies and how some things happen and all of a sudden you move into something else. So how beautiful that this is coming this evening to read to you guys tonight with Corinne on the show. And also, if you'd like to come in, call in for any questions or comments, or want to ask a question, the number to call in is 517-208-1500. So first of all, I'd just like everybody to take a deep breath in and just put their hand on their heart and just relax for a second. Take a breath and just ground yourself and just be here and present with this show. I thank everyone that is here this evening to join us for this fabulous show. And I know energies have been really crazy off the charts today. So let's just everyone just take a moment just to breathe, because I need to breathe myself as well. So to start out with the quote that I received, and this was a long channel that I received. So this was just the end of it. I'd like to share with you tonight. So here it is, and I really like you to sit back and close your eyes and listen to it, because it's just really taps into kind of the consciousness of what's going on right now in our world. So it's be the seed of the light that darkens the seed to grow, and grow it will. The flame heart of all that is will be cast upon those who go the distance and trust even in the darkest times. The sands of time are now moving in a new direction for those to go the distance and stand up for what they believe. Accept others for what they believe, and to open your hearts to all. And what a beautiful thing that is, because we're at a time right now where we need to step into that, to open our hearts, to step into the magic that is, to step into the things that we can't see, that are hidden in the shadows, that are hidden in that imaginary world that is right there in front of us, to open up, to create a new change in this world that we're moving into. So as you move along this week, and I know every week that I do a Cosmic Explorer expedition, today was a really awesome day for me in kind of looking at the mastery of me. And I listened to something that Corinne had said today about, what are we manifesting? And I kind of went down that railroad track of just kind of looking at what am I manifesting and what is the mastery of me? And it was just, and this radio show, I just really came into that this radio show is the master of me, to allow me to have my voice, to forward that through to all you guys so you guys can express and to open up. And it was just a really cool experience of claiming that. And that's what I have been manifesting. I've been manifesting standing in that beingness of who I am, learning to be that beingness of who I am, to create this master of me. So now I can manifest everything I desire in my world. So what I'm asking you this week is kind of on your Cosmic Explorers expedition for the week, is to really look and maybe examine like what the mastery of you is. And what energies do you require to allow into your world to create that mastery, where you might be holding back or holding on to shame or guilt or whatever it is that you might have in your world right now that keeps you from being that energy of who you truly need to be to create that world that you are. So just take some time to think into that question this week and really explore it, because we're in a whole new world right now and a whole new energy, and it's just a fantastic place to be right now. And in saying that, I would like to bring on Corinne so she can tell us about her new book and about her. But first of all, Corinne, I can't say any more about Corinne. She is the most amazing, fantastic teacher. I learned so much from her, and in coming to my mastery and my manifestation of who I am, she was such an intricate part of that with the classes I took and the experience I had with her. She knows what she do. She walks the talk. She lives in that angel juju, and she is a mastery of what she does. And I'm so honored, beyond the word honored, to have her here this evening with us to discuss and talk about the angels and how she came into who she is and where she's going, and just all that good stuff. So further ado, I'm going to bring Corinne on. Are you there, sweet love?
Wow.
Wow.
Wowie. You were talking about me. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
For that. Welcome.
It's so true. You know how I feel about you.
Well, you know how I feel about you, so let's call it even.
So, oh my gosh, thank you. That was okay. So I have to say, like, we were like at 1 minute here, just trying to get everything together here. So I'm glad we took a deep breath, getting everyone together here, being in California and Florida, weren't we? Talk about the angels putting out some mastery there. I'm sitting here going, should I call her? But I know she'll be coming on. I just have to trust. So I went through my own little process.
No. I mean, I was on my way back. I was walking my dog, and then this giant dog started attacking my dog. So I was a little late on here. But as usual, the angels have perfect timing.
So. Oh, don't they always? Don't they always? It's just amazing when you can live in that energy, huh? Just to be, it just, even if thing is like freaking hitting the fan in the long run, it always works out, doesn't it?
I know, it's really, I mean, I'm just saying, this whole divine timing thing really does work the more that you open up your life to spirit. And, I just want to say, it doesn't have to be angels. Not everybody resonates with angels.
Oh, yeah.
But there's always spirit there, and whatever you're drawn to, the more that you collect and call on, whether it's the forces of nature or guides or whatever it is, it's just the more life can be pretty magical.
It is. And I think it's just stepping into the energies that, creating with those energies that we have inside of us, and not like being a slave to them, and learning how to reverse that to be in the energy of what you desire to be, whatever, and then bring in whatever you work with in your world.
Oh, God, yes, exactly. And I love the word that you're using, which is slave, because so many people don't know that we are actually enslaved by millennium of fear-based juju, by all of the DNA that we inherited, by the culture at large currently that is kind of propagating some negativity and ways of being that are not in alignment with who we are as souls, right?
No.
So, yes, it's all about becoming free and individuated and sovereign and using whatever powers that be that you align with that can help crack you out of a prison and back into a life that's awesome.
Yes. And I don't know about you in your world, but I'm finding it, and then I want to go in a little bit about you. We kind of just got off here. But I'm finding it's, with these energies that are changing, it's, I feel like a long time ago, it took so long to get yourself out of the dark hole, and now it's just, it seems for me, it's so fast. It's just a new paradigm of being and stepping into that, where we don't have to do those long drawn out. It's just, have you found that it's just moving so much faster and creating those miracles within ourselves?
Oh, absolutely. I've been doing this work and working as an intuitive healer, connecting people with spirit for several years now. And I'm just going to say, what I've seen with people, especially, yes, my manifestations are definitely faster, and because they're faster, you have to have a more vigilant mind to stay positive. But because you can rapidly manifest a serious shit swirl too if your mind isn't trained.
Oh yeah.
Right? But what I'm seeing with the people who I'm working with all over the world is that the light is kind of getting activated so much quicker in them. They're gaining mass faster. I probably used to have to work a little harder to get people to see it, to kind of shift into that new timeline. And these days, people are like, it just seems like they're ready for it. I barely mentioned something, and they're like, "Oh my God, I feel the light. I feel the angels with me." So I think time is accelerating, and so is our bodies, and it's pretty freaking amazing.
It is. So we kind of jumped ahead. Can you just tell people that are listening this evening that don't really know your work or anything? Can you tell a little bit about yourself and where you are, and a little bit about what you're birthing right now? We'll kind of go back and.
Sure. Yeah. So hello. My name is Karen Grillo, and I am actually a trained licensed psychotherapist that had a huge angel experience. It was an actual miracle that really kind of woke me up to the spiritual world. Before that, I was open to the spiritual world, maybe, but I didn't really know that it was as real, tangible, palpable, and practical as it actually is.
Yeah.
And so after that day, I was slowly guided and led into the life that I lead today, which is now teaching internationally. I have an international, I don't know, I don't want to call it a following because it sounds kind of geeky, but there's people that I know all over the world, and they take my classes, and we party, and we go on retreats together, and so I'm a teacher, healer, speaker, and now the author of The Angel Experiment, which is my first, I know, crazy. So, yeah, that's my first book coming out. It's published by New World Library, and it's actually coming out very soon.
Awesome. Isn't it in October, right? Correct? The end of the month?
October 29th, yes.
And is there anything you'd like to say about your book? I'll tell you, personally, I got the chance to read it. I was in your book reading club or whatever you want to call it. And I do have to say, for those listening, it's absolutely brilliant. And if you're looking to kind of move through move through a 21-day process, this just walks you through that. And it's just, as I told you before, it's absolutely brilliant. Is there anything you'd like to say about your book to kind of, I don't know, just anything you'd like to express about it? As it's coming through, or any advice you can give people that are, looking for something like the book provides?
Yes, well, this book is actually based on one of the first angel classes that I brought to the world internationally. So thousands of people have taken it, and this 21-day experience was actually channeled. The angels kind of stopped me in my tracks, and they said, "Wait, stop what you're doing. I know you have these other projects, but you have to do this first." And day by day, it was a system, essentially a system of ritual and invocation. An archangel by archangel came forward each day, dropping down what they called gifts for us. Mm-hmm. And so day by day, you do 10 to 15 minutes of doing healing transmissions with the angels. And I just want to say, this program has really changed lives. There's been a lot of wacky, amazing miracles that have happened. So that's why I wanted to turn it into a book.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And I'll tell you, I've been through many of your courses, so I can say the work is magical, and it is very manifesting and life changing, and just opens you up to a new paradigm of you, I guess you should say, where you can open up to a new space, to create from a new space and live from a new space, and to just be in a new space where you weren't before. So that's a beautiful gift that you're giving to the world to bring that to us.
Right. Well, I wish it was me giving it, but it's literally the angels, that tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Do this." And then it's like, "Hey, we're going to turn this into a book." And I resisted actually most of it, right? Because I'm just, trying to do my thing. And they're like, "No, do this instead." But for me, it's been amazing over the years seeing how angels didn't just touch my life. I know that they created massive healing in my own heart and mind, and miracles happened in my life, but witnessing the things that happen for other people, and the consciousness transformation that happens, and the insight that they gain, and really the spiritual connection the real spiritual connection that they develop through doing this work is just so inspiring to me. It like keeps me going, you know?
Yes. And it's funny you say that, about resistance, because, I think that's one of the biggest things on any path, learning to, they like to call it awakening, or, coming into your own, or learning about yourself, is that resistance that we put upon ourselves and place upon ourselves, and arguing with what's coming through. And do you find that trust is like, what do you find like are the top couple things when you're starting to go on a path to open up to really look at? For me, it's, like learning to trust is a huge thing, and listen to what's coming through and learning how you receive energy. Do you have any advice on what you found in your work for the listeners?
Yeah, about creating trust.
Yeah, creating trust and opening up to listen to the information that's coming in, so you can move forward in your world.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think many people are already receiving the information. 90% of the people aren't doing anything with it because they think it's too fantastic or wild, and they feel like they can't accomplish that, or that would be the wrong thing. Maybe they're getting guidance to leave their 20-year marriage, and they're like, well, that would be the wrong thing because not, what kind of wife would I be? What kind of mother would I be if I did that? But from what I've seen Spirit do is that they do try and get you more in line, mostly to make you happy. They want all of us happy. So I would say that the only way to learn to trust, from my perspective, is to actually take those actions that are trying to compel you into freedom of your heart, your mind, and your life. And then over time, you begin to build trust. So I didn't have trust in myself in the beginning. I mostly had trust in spirit, and that okay, you guys, this is way bigger than me, so it's in your hands. I don't know how I can afford this, but okay, it's in your hands because I'm small. So I've done a lot of those little tricks, and now even my whole career is a testament of just doing and learning to trust, especially if I feel terrorized or afraid. The first time I did video to a large group, did a webinar, I almost like had a panic attack, So all this stuff can be very provocative and terrorizing when you're actually listening to the guidance,
Yes, I can so agree with that. Being in that space of listening to the guidance and knowing and knowing when to listen, and and opening up to that space to allow yourself to listen, even if you're terrified to death. And I agree with you. I find when you're in that, when you are terrified to death, is when you should jump in, because that's that, I guess what you want to say, that human part of us, that ego part that's saying, oh no, you can't do this, but Spirit's like, no, this is your path and where you should be going.
Right, exactly. So it's tricky because we didn't learn to do that, growing up. Our parents didn't teach us really anything about thriving. They taught us how to survive. Yeah. Like, okay, you're going to go to school, little Billy, and then you're going to go to college and get a fine job and find a nice wife, and then be fucking miserable the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So no one taught us how to thrive. So I think one of the key elements is just, confronting those fears and believing in something beyond the box that we were raised in.
Yes, and I think that's the key right there, going beyond the box that we were raised in, because our parents are only doing what they knew to do and following the paradigm that they were taught to follow. And I'm finding in the world that whole box is just changing right now. Are you finding that out there with the people you're working with? Like, it's a whole new rules and I want to say rules and regulations, but that like this whole new just way of being is opening up that we've never experienced before.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely happening, and I feel like it's happening out of necessity. The structures that we've created, the patriarchal structures,
yes.
The old ways of doing things are really so limiting, and they're not good for creatives and the creative spirit that's really trying to push through here. But yeah, we're doing it out of necessity. I believe more people are going to start moving towards entrepreneurship. And why? That's because the middle class is disappearing, and there's less jobs. So we can't afford waiting for the perfect boss and the perfect job. You got to go out there and make your own. And I feel like there's going to be a wave of these creative entrepreneurs and new pathways in that way as well. So yeah, we're breaking down systems. It's an exciting time but it also takes a lot of courage because we're kind of the front runners here.
Yes, it is. And I this weekend, my daughter was home from college, and I was noticing, she was discussing with me the pressures on her right now, and her roommate, just the pressures that even the younger generation has right now, and what they're taking on to change the world. And it's very interesting to see from that point of view, from our point of view, almost like this generation of like kind of almost the seed planters of change, but then this next generation coming is actually like being the active part of creating that change, and how we can support them right now, because they're going through so much in taking that on, of this new experience that we're going into. Have you found that with the younger generation?
Oh my gosh, yes. And what's interesting is, I have an 8-year-old, and I'm seeing so much of her, what she consumes, and I'm watching, in a sense, this channeled material like My Pretty Pony, but I'm watching the messaging coming through, and it's really designed for inclusivity and collaboration and all of these things that we really didn't, we really didn't learn. Like, I grew up watching Warner Brothers, like, Bugs Bunny. And
Me too.
Someone and we have to create a safe space for our children to really express who they are, and if they're not thriving in these old systems, finding ways to help them thrive in new containers and new systems, because we need them. But I'm like blown away by the millennials and all of these younger generations coming up. They are so much more free than I'm inspired by watching our younger generation.
I know, it's amazing. I was blown away. I don't know why we kind of jumped into this, but I thought it was so beautiful. I don't know if you watch America's Got Talent, but the little boy who won with the autism and the singing, that just blew me away, of what a beautiful message to send out into the world. And having him win that with the challenges he's had, and what a message to say, our children, we need to look at them and open them up, and not shut them down, and moving into this new age.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And if anybody wants to call in, the number to call in is 517-208-1500. If you have any questions, or you like to ask Corinne a question or me a question, or just want to say something, give us a call. So what else has been going on in your world, creating magically and opening up, that you've seen changes that are, kind of what you're moving into with your work and what you're doing that you'd like to share?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know anybody that got off this year without totally annihilating parts of their life and having to kind of navigate new territory, not quite know where they're going. Does that encapsulate that world for you too?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
It's like a mass annihilation of the old self. So there's all these graves all over the world of our old self, and now we're going, what the heck? What do we believe in now? What are we doing? So, for me, it's really about, I think, oh gosh, it just with every part of my life has had to die, and in order for me to be reborn in a way.
Yeah.
And I mean that on like the personal level, even my role as a mother, and now professionally, my energies are really shifting, and I'm kind of still working on trying to navigate where things want to go really from my heart. And I think many of us are kind of sometimes get stuck because old systems are working doesn't mean that you have to keep doing those exact things. So I am simply working on creating an open field for me to be kind of guided and led. So this book is coming out. That's one thing, and I'm prepared to really, pursue that path. And I just, and I just want to just really be of service to more people. And I just keep asking Spirit, what else can I do? And I'm right in the beginning of this phase of like, what else is possible? And how else can I serve? But the old kingdom has fallen as far as I can tell.
Oh, I'm right there with you. I have done more, as I said, beginnings and endings. The last, I don't know, 6 months of just going down and just looking in the depths of everything from, once again, every avenue of my life, every aspect of my life. And just, I mean, just like really looking at it and just it really showing up. And it's almost like you can't even breathe anymore into the old beingness because it's like forcing you. There's like, I don't know if you feel it, like I'm feeling into the energy of what's to come. And it's just incredible of what is being created right now, that oldness just really has to disappear now, for everybody to like stand up, to go the distance and step into that. And just everything crashing down and just not working anymore the way it was. And just how exciting it is to be in this new space of, gosh, I'm just like, the only thing I can think of is, coming the mastery manifestor you are. And I do find too, I mean, I'm finding for myself too, is really learning to be in that being in the energy of who you are will create the doing in your world, that you don't really have to think about it or create. If you put the energy into creating it, instead of just allowing it to open up, it's a totally different energy now. Are you finding that as well?
Oh gosh, yes, and I was forced into it. I actually started working with some new invisible allies called the Masters of Time. I know it sounds weird. I've never quite heard of them before. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I was really used to run my business in a highly strategic way. Meaning I knew every quarter what was going to happen, or every 6 months in advance what was going to happen and what I was going to do. And I'm not allowed to do that anymore. So they essentially, I had to crumble in July. And I literally was crying almost every day in July, like in front of my kids, which I don't really do very often. And it was for no good reason. It was just this internal pressure bubbling out. What the hell is going on? And am I having a psychotic break, and in fact I was, on one level, there's a part of me that was dying and it was scary. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, after that, after I got through the big purge, I would look at my business and go, okay, I'm going to go, and now I'm going to do this because it's what I do. It's going to be the right thing. And I couldn't do it, Rebecca. And it was like, it was very awkward because I'm like, I have 2 kids and I'm going to have to generate some kind of income. And I know there's all these people waiting for me to go do something extra or create some kind of angel party somehow, but I just couldn't do it. And so I was channeling Talking Masters of Time, and they're like, look, you will know when the time is, but now's not the time. It's like, oh, stop with that shit. I got babies to feed, But really, I was getting annoyed. So, but yeah, it has been exactly that. It's like, I know when I know, and then I move. Yes. And I've always kind of done that with this business, but it's so much more intense now, and it's like that with my life too. So I'm just in the process of buying a house, and it was like, you don't have to go search and look for things, and don't worry about it. It's going to just kind of happen. The time hasn't opened up yet. So don't spin your wheels, kind of thing. Yes. And so I'm like, okay, because I was running out of wheels to spin anyway. So I was like, all right. And so yeah, this house kind of happened fairly easily, fluidly. And when the time was right, it just opened up, like you're saying, and it just kind of comes. Yeah, and that's such cool to be in that space. I mean, just letting go of that worry that you don't have to worry. It just shows up. It just shows up, and happens. From where before you might have to put the energy into it, we don't have to do that anymore. Things are just showing up, and I love to hear too that you argue with the information that comes to you as well, because I do that as well, especially when they come to me in the middle of the night. I'm like, seriously, I'm sleeping right now. I really have to get out of bed and write this down. Really, you better give me some good stuff if you're gonna make me get out of bed. So. I know. Yeah, no, I'm a classic tantrumer, and I'm a rebel on top of that. So it's a strange spokesperson that is working for the angels right now. I still don't know why they like me, but but they do, and I think it's because sometimes I'm crazy enough to actually listen and get the word out, you know?
And you do a brilliant job of it. So you really do. Just that they picked the right person for the job. That's all I'm saying, from my point of view.
Thank you. Oh, that's so much.
And it's so fun too, isn't it? I think a lot of people get caught up in like, I'm going to say, you use the word heavy right now, that it has to be everything, you know, in the, I really, like the world of spirituality, if you want to say, everything has to be like so dark and so heavy. Not I'm going to say dark, but you know, you have to like spiral down and go deep, but in the grand scheme of things, it's freaking fun. You know, if you can open up to that space of just having fun with it and enjoying it, because, you know, they're standing up there looking down at us, laughing at us all, saying, you silly little humans, you know, you make things so difficult by staying in your mind. Just drop down and do it and have fun with it. And that's just what opens up for the magic to happen.
Right, and that's such a good point. And I think, you know, this year's, well, every year is, but this year I just feel like has been a real opportunity for us to practice shifting frequencies, like on a dime.
Yes.
And because it's so easy to go into doom and gloom, because this year has been so aggressive for so many of us, and like in your face and just making you do stuff and not wanting to deal with stuff, but it's coming at you anyways. And so yeah, I mean, for me, it's been an incredible opportunity to really gain mastery over the power of my thoughts even more. It's like next level. I've been working on this stuff for decades.
Yes.
But it's now, okay, now it's like, you know, I'm taking it to like the next level of vigilance almost, because I'm seeing how even more acutely how things are created in every moment.
Yes. So do you feel like I was actually talking to someone earlier today about that, on how like the old ways of being are still there, but almost kind of melting away in a way. And there's this whole new way, this whole new energy and teachings coming forward into the world that have never been expressed before. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? And that, and like where you fall in that pocket of being in that space where all this old, and I highly respect all the old teachings, but in saying that, it's just like, I feel like we're at this, and I don't know if you're feeling into the energy of this, but we're at this like turning point of, as I said, this brilliance of our evolution happening, where we can step into this new energy in creating something that hasn't been created before. And it's almost like riding a bike and wobbling for the first time, and like, where do you go and what you do and how do you follow that? Is that what you're kind of feeling, if that makes sense to you?
Oh, absolutely. I think we're all, you know, coming into new awarenesses and just new awareness of who we are. Even the way that I wrap myself around the healing work, because, you know, I love the healing work. I love
Yes.
energy work. And even the way that I'm doing that is really changing in a big way. The old ways of doing things aren't really aligning so much anymore. Yes. You know, for New Agers, and I don't even like to use the term New Age because it's not New Age.
Yes.
It's just, you know, it's just light at this stage.
Yes.
And, what was the thing right before that? Sorry.
I don't know. I think I got lost in your vortex because I lost it too myself. Damn it. I'm trying to multitask here.
About the healing stuff.
The healing,
yeah,
yes.
But I'm noticing, so before it was like this, we have all of these wounds and we have to just keep healing and clearing. Yeah. And once we're healed and cleared, then we're whole. And all of that is increasingly more bullshit.
Yes.
Meaning, yes, we have wounds and all of that, but we can so quickly shift into our wholeness now.
Yes.
That like playing that old game, it's still fun and it's still helpful. It gives you insight and you do actually get relief, but there's other ways to do healing now that is much more quantum speed.
I firmly agree with you. And we had somebody type in like that being a valiantly thought master. I guess 765 shared that. So I'm branching out myself. I'm branching out myself tonight and trying to do the chat room at the same time. So this is huge for me. So
good for you. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, Yeah, I love that. What is that?
Vigilantly thought master.
That's our task. There it is.
There you go. Thank you, guest 765. We greatly appreciate it. So, but yeah, I firmly agree with you, Corinne, in that that healing. It's almost like snapping your fingers. Where before it would be like weeks of trying to unwind something, but now the energy is just like snapping your fingers and stepping into it, and it's just literally, I feel it just like almost like falls off of us like a waterfall. It just literally just falls off, and stepping into that mastery.
Exactly. Yeah, I've noticed it's like you're wearing these shells, and you can just I just walk out of my shell, and it falls away, and it wasn't that easy before, but things have changed. I love that it's happening. I love that it's happening. It's so wonderful. And at the same time, not to make it sound like everything's bright and cheery, because I don't promote that, because the fact is we're still in the 3D world. We've shifted into the 5D, but we're still coping. We have one foot in one and the other foot in the other, and the rest of our family. They're still stuck there. So then we're not gonna leave anybody. So I'm just saying it's still hard. Look. Rebecca, I just came back from a 4-day family reunion, and I was toxified after I got back. It's like I got hit by a truck when I got back. So, even though we know we can clear and heal all these things, we're still human, and I just want to say, like, I promote the dark as well as the light, is what I'm saying.
I am right. Good. Amen to that. I think it's finding the balance of the both, because we are both when it comes right down to it. We have both sides.
That's the point.
Yeah, and I think it's also too getting into the world of living in the upper realms, but also remembering that we are here for this human experience, and to learning to embody that as well, with having the connection to your higher self and being. But remember that human part, that we're here for that experience. And I feel like sometimes people get lost in getting up, swirling up here, and forgetting to be in the bringing it all together to balance both parts of us together. Or there's more than both parts, but you know what I'm saying? Not multidimensional, just bringing it all together to be, to be here, to be present, to be in this human experience, and to look at what we're here to experience.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that the days of just simply love and light, those aren't working anymore.
No.
And the more that we just do love and light, the more that we create a shadow that will come up and smack us upside the head. Mm-hmm. So it's really important, I feel like, for us to just acknowledge our darkness, the little devil inside too, and to just love ourselves through it. I mean, all of us have a little naughty side, and it's okay. But when we reject it, I feel that creates so much of the pain on the planet, period. All these people rejecting their darkness. Let's look at, not to get too political, but there's a certain president of the United States right now that is the master of not being able to acknowledge his own shadow.
Oh, yes.
And because of this, all of this massive devastation, because he can't see where the real monster is.
Yeah, and look at that as the head front of that, also of the world itself looking at its shadow. Not to get on that talk, but it's just
that's
like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's so. I'm just pointing to him as a perfect example. We see it happening in this really widescreen view here, but it's happening inside of each of us.
Yes.
And until each of us reclaims that monster inside of us, that identity inside of us that we reject, it's going to keep on happening. We're going to keep on creating leaders that look like that.
So how do you find when that shadow comes up? Because I think a lot of people listening tonight, that's kind of like, the energies are crazy right now. And I find for myself that shadow popping up all the time. And personally for myself, I've learned to just sit and breathe with it and allow it to surface, and then just say, hey, and kind of talk to it. Do you have any advice for that you found that works for you when your shadow side comes up, or that shadow energy comes up, to help people kind of move through it?
I feel like there's a lot of things we can do, but the first one that's coming through for us tonight is if the darkness is rising inside of you, to not create stories about it, to not make it worse than it is. So let's say you're a binge drinker, and you do great work in the world, and you're, a super, high five, gold star kind of human, and you also have this other thing happening. So what would happen is, like, you go through a binge drink, and in your mind, you're like, oh, shit, now, oh, my God, I'm failing everyone. I'm such a loser. I'm hiding this. And maybe it reminds you of your, drunken mother, and, oh, shit, I'm just like her.
Yes.
And instead of creating more stories, more torture, more guilt, more shame, because that perpetuates these moments, it's more like, okay, I see you, and what do you need right now? Like, what do you really need?
Yes.
And sometimes it's like, what I need is a fucking drink. And it's like, okay, why? But, just talking to that part of ourselves, like it's not a monster, but like it needs something, like it's a baby that's craving some love or some attention, or that's afraid, or that is bored. I'll tell you, for me, failure used to be, or fear of failure used to be a trigger. Now I realize it's also fear of success is a trigger.
Amen to that.
Yeah, because and when here's the thing, here's what's weird is when I have huge, big windfalls of success, it's a trigger as if I totally fell on my face. It's the same energy. And so it's like our inner polarity is going to come out and play, whether you're at a super high or super low, and just underneath. For me, it's just two sides of the same coin. So I just say, hey, it's going to be in us. Acknowledge it. Say hello. Get to know it. Try not to hate more on it, because it makes it bigger and stronger. And just like, okay, we're just going to get through this. It's cool. And also, it's also helps dissipate the energy of shadow when you talk to other people about what's going on. So the more that we hide, the more that it becomes stronger.
Yeah, because what you feed is what grows, isn't it?
Exactly. So always, I approach any aspect of yourself like that with a little love and understanding, and knowing it's probably the strategy that you developed, very wise strategy you developed at a young age to survive.
And isn't also holding yourself in a place of compassion without judgment, just allowing what's coming up to come up in that space of compassion for yourself.
Right, exactly.
Because I find, that's probably the biggest thing out there is people just beating themselves up more than anything else, and cutting ourselves down and judging ourselves with what's coming up, and keeping ourselves stuck in those stories, not allowed to open up to a space so they can unroll themselves out of that hole to continue forward in their life, because they like to play in that space.
Oh, it's so true. And I love what you're saying there. It's like not punishing, not blaming yourself. One of the recent things that I noticed, I was talking to one of my communities, and I asked them what they're manifesting. And so many people, like hundreds of responses. They're all so many of them, I would say 90% were asking for money, asking for finances. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. And so I was talking to Spirit. And I'm going to tell you right now, every individual of those people feel ashamed about it. They feel like they're somehow failing their life, or failing their family. They feel bad about it. They hate themselves, maybe, that they don't have cash, or that they wish they had more. Mm-hmm. And so when I was connecting with Spirit, the message was pointing out that financial issue is not your individual issue. It's a cultural issue.
Yes.
It's a way deeper issue than any one person. Like I said earlier, the middle class is shrinking, and we want to blame ourselves. But also, we're carrying in our family's history with money too. Our family's history. So it's like this cesspool of all of us having to really kind of grapple with this whole money thing, because we're living in the day and age that we are, where things are so much more competitive, less collaborative, and that 0.001% is thriving.
Yes.
While the rest of everyone is, just hoping to be able to feed their kids.
Yes, it's kind of still back in the days of the castles and the kings and the queens, where they go and collect the taxes from the people.
Right.
And that it's like we're trapped in that. I think a lot of people are trapped in that mentality of not worthy enough to have money in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have to just realize it's not quit shaming ourselves when we don't have what we feel everyone else has.
Yes.
We think they have, and also allowing new creative ways to live and move in the world. That's what we're being called to do, because the old ways, like we were saying, aren't working.
Yes. And as I said earlier on the show, I was listening to someone today who's, about not allow energy to serve you. You don't serve energy. You're not a slave to energy.
Yes. No, exactly.
And then we can open up to create that, by allowing ourselves to be the energy of what we wish, what we desire, the abundance that we desire in our world, whatever that might be. And I think it stems too. I don't know about you. We've always been, learning to step into ourselves to learn how to feel. And I don't think we've been taught really how to feel what we want to create. More so, not so much from a mental standpoint, but actually feeling and opening in your body to bring that feeling of what you want to feel like when you bring that into your world. Do you use that as well?
Yes, of course. Yeah, especially lately, because again, we're manifesting hardcore, so you got to bring it all in. But yeah, most of us are used to multiplying our misery by focusing on what's wrong in our life and feeling those negative feelings. So now it's like, oh wow, we can just feel the positive feelings in the same moment. It's like, yes, you can. In this moment, you could feel like total shit and have access to the part of you that's totally cool and at peace and even positive. So that's a lot of what I've been playing with this year, especially just polarity. That's like, okay, if I'm feeling with the law of polarity, if this exists so badly, that means the opposite exists right here, right now. So accessing that and dialing that tuner to tune into that awesomeness and feeling it, letting your body feel the truth.
Yes.
That.
Oh, I so agree with that. I remember last week I had a complete meltdown. I don't even remember what the meltdown was over, but I was right in that space you were talking about. And I remember my husband saying to me, just whatever he said, I said, no, I have to allow this feeling right now because it's coming through me. But I know what's at the end of it. I know the truth of, that other side of the polarity of it. But right now I'm right in this part of it and I have to honor that part of it. So it was so cool. And it all, I just kind of moved through it and it was just so beautiful because it blossomed. And then I was back into the alignment of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it's
exactly right there.
Yep. Stay in that, bring yourself back home to you, that alignment. So it's so easy and so simple, yet we make it so difficult, don't we?
I know. I mean, it wouldn't be any fun if we all were masters. We come here to be masters.
And I think that's what goes in is becoming the mastery of me. So that's the kind of the roller coaster I went down today with everything, with this day, with this show and talking to you. And I listened to you earlier with the manifest and I was like, what am I manifesting? And I was like, oh, the mastery of me. Like that's been my journey, is the mastery of me, which I'm still working on, by the way. But, it's like a new mastery. Like, okay, I've gone to one level now. Now it's a whole new mastery opening up. So
for sure. Yes.
But it's so fun. And I don't know about you. I find it so fun to go out in the world now too. I just, because people are waking up and getting curious about things, like you can I want to say mess with people, but just have fun with them and play games with them and bring the craziest subjects up. And instead of turning your nose up to you, they'll actually be like, really? Interest. I don't know if you're finding that out in the world right now, this whole new shift in how people are responding to the world, the different world that people live in.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've been noticing that for a while now. But yeah, now these days, it's, again, the old world and the new world are colliding, and these, language like full moon and Mercury retrograde and, everything is energy. Those are happening in corporate America, you know, like they've infiltrated.
I know. It's so funny too. And even the media, not to get on the media too. I love to watch shows to see the consciousness of the planet and things that are coming in. I was watching some the other night and, what show? I don't even know what show it was, but she had just gone to Sedona and turned her life around and talking about the medicine wheel. And it's just so funny, these things that are actually like being infiltrated now in the media as that change of consciousness is happening. It's so fun to see, to be the witness of it and just watch it all unfold.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a fascinating time to be here. I'm glad I'm here. It's a fun thing to watch. It wasn't fun the first 35 years. The first 35 years I wanted to tap out.
Yes.
But this last 12 has been pretty freaking awesome.
Awesome. So we're getting actually the show's almost over. Can you believe that? But it flies, doesn't it? So there's anything that you would like to leave the callers with tonight, the listeners tonight, that any tips, tools, download, or anything you like to leave people with, and then let them know where they can find you, your classes, or anything, where to get the book, anything you'd like to share with them before we close up the show for the evening.
Yeah, the first wisdom that came to me was just to keep trucking. It's like a keep trucking. That's what my guides are saying. They're saying keep trucking. And the meaning is, right now we're trudging through a lot. Sometimes you can't see what's about to come forward. We put in a lot of energy, but just know that the future, it's optimistic. It's hopeful. They want you to keep your minds towards the optimism, towards the possibility, and towards the expansion. And when you want to contract your heart and hide and think, that's the time to expand and open up your heart and say yes. Start moving through it, even if it's scary. So that's what I want to leave people with, because this year is freaking crazy. Okay, it's crazy.
Really? Has it been that crazy?
Keep trucking. And you have so much support. So much invisible support. And if you're not engaging them on the daily, talking to Spirit on the daily and asking them for specific help, even if it's just to help you have a more positive attitude and to help you, see the possibility, then do that. And if you want some extra help with that, you can purchase my book. It's coming out soon, and you can find it on CorinneGrillo.com, which is my website, or go to Amazon and do a search for Corinne Grillo, Corin Grillo, or the Angel Experiment, and you can find it there. So, thank you so much, Rebecca, for having me on.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being on. And also, do you have any programs that are coming up? The Angel Academy or anything that's coming, or 21 days or 7-day, or anything else that people maybe can tune into in the meantime?
Oh my God, yes. Rebecca, yes. Okay, I don't even have this up on my website yet, but there's such a cool event coming February 28th through the 1st, I believe, and that's happening in Santa Cruz, California. I'm doing a 3-day angel channeling and healing workshop.
Oh, wow.
So if anybody's curious and wants to come connect live and really drop down some badass angel juju, because when we all come together and start doing this stuff, it's so freaking potent and powerful, and serious healing happens, and miracles, like cool things happen. So if you want to get super dialed in, that would be super fun. So I'd love to see people there too.
Oh, that's awesome. And how would they register for that? You just go to your website then?
Yeah, I don't have it up yet, but you can just email me and I'll give you information. So you can, on my website, you can contact me and then just ask for information, and I'll get it to anybody who wants it.
Awesome. So in closing, is there anything else you'd like to share this evening before we've got a few minutes left?
No, that's it. I feel I'm so happy to have chatted with you and to be talking to your Pete. I'm stoked. Oh, I just remembered the name of the place that I'm hosting that thing. It's at 1440 Multiversity in Santa Cruz, so you can also find the event there. It's a beautiful retreat center, 75 acres, all of that good stuff. But that's it. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Oh my gosh, Corinne, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time this evening to be here with me and chitty chat and have a good old time. I really appreciated it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm gonna take you off mute now so you can get on with your evening. I thank you so much, and I'll just close the show out here, and then everybody can get on and enjoy the rest of their Friday night during this, have a real happy hour. Thanks a lot, Corinne, sister.
Thank you.
Okay. Love you, girl. Bye. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining me this evening for the Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour. I really enjoyed that conversation, getting our little angel juju on. And once again, if you want to contact Corinne, www.corinneguerrilla.com. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you get her book, especially if you're going through a journey yourself and need a little extra angel help. It's just a fabulous, fabulous book. So next week, I wanted to let you know that we have Emily Greaves that'll be coming to us for the show from Mexico, who is the most amazing intentional artist. She is, I've spent many times with Emily in Teotihuacan, which I actually just learned to say after 6 years of going there. And she is just the most amazing teacher, the heart of just an angel, basically. Works a lot with Lady Guadalupe, Mother Mary, a painting. She just opened up her brand new villa in Mexico and San Sebastian, and she's going to be with us to tell us about her experience, what she experienced. Also talk a little bit about the Day of the Dead that's coming up, which I don't know if you celebrate that where you are, but bringing that in. So look forward to seeing you next Friday night at 5 p.m. Pacific here at Oneness Talk Radio. And in the meantime, I do have an Instagram, Cosmic Tune-Up Happy Hour. If you'd like to send me a line, if any questions or comments that you might have, you can email me at cosmictuneuphappyhour@gmail.com. So I thank everyone out there from the bottom of my heart for joining me this evening. Kiss, kiss, love, love to all. And I'll see you next Friday. Thank you so much.
Oneness Talk Radio. Hip, fresh, and fun. Discover your positivity portal 24/7 and experience unique talk radio from around the planet, perfectly mixed with music that enchants your soul. At a moment where everyone is being challenged to stay awake and release fear, OnenessTalkRadio.com is here to remind us all of our divine mastery. Imagine the activating power of intentional oneness and universal healing available at any time. With shows in multiple languages and formats, relax and explore. Our commitment to uplifting music from superstars and fresh talent, combined with your favorite shows, will inspire you to stay all day and soak in the gift of connection. Once you experience our signature oneness moment, in only 3 to 5 minutes, your heart will expand as miracles unfold. OnenessTalkRadio.com. One world, one voice. Expand your vision.